There's a bustling alpine village set in the beautiful Blue Ridge Mountains that'll transport you to the cobblestone streets of Germany. That's home to a little-known football powerhouse, the Helen Chamois. The Chamois have dominated lower levels of competition and are now headed up to the FBS to prove themselves in the SunBelt. However, that's not who this story is about. Welcome to Merritt Island, Florida, home of the Kennedy Space Center, known as the island you go over to get to Port Canaveral to go on all those cruises. That's where you'll find the Indian River Bull Sharks. They're the little brothers of the Chamois. They were dominated in the FCS title game by the Chamois and couldn't get into the more prestigious SunBelt. However, they refused to be left behind as they want to take the Chamois down one day and chose to enter the CUSA, hoping one day to join the SunBelt and prove that they can and will eclipse the Chamois. Let's get into the roster. Starting quarterback Abdul Orr was a two-star recruit out of Massachusetts who was never really valued during the recruiting process because he ran a wing T offense in high school. He thought of entering the transfer portal, but the thought of being able to lead the Bull Sharks to the FBS was enough to keep him around. He knows it's going to be a struggle, but he wants to prove himself at the FBS level. Next up's your starting running back. His name's Luca Bean. He is a power back that transferred up from the Maine Black Bears to come to the FBS and join us. He's also got another running mate who's known as a little bit more of a scat back. He's the guy we're going to rely upon to get the big plays, and his name's Torrey Bacon. He is a UConn transfer that was hoping to be the hometown hero for the Huskies. However, he just could never get on the field, so he decided it's time to move on and get himself some playing time. Now let's take a look at our receiving core. We'll start with the number 3 wide receiver. Bradley Lewis is going to be out of the slot primarily. He's a little bit more of a shifty guy who is going to be able to get us them nitty-gritty plays over across the middle of the field and maybe bust off a few big ones. He's just not the fastest guy in the world. Our number 2 receiver is going to be Nigel Gills, who transferred in from Montana to prove that he can be a productive FBS player because he wants to go to the NFL one day, and he knows he needs to prove himself. As a former 3-star player who started out at Wisconsin, he ended up having to transfer down, so he's afraid that if he didn't transfer back up, he'd never get the opportunity. So that leads to our top receiver. His name's Thomas Boston, a former 3-star recruit who transferred to Indian River from Boston College. We only have him for one season, but at 6'3", 200 pounds, we expect him to dominate the CUSA and lead our team. He's going to be an exceptional playmaker for us, and I can't wait to get him out there and show off what he can do. Next up's our starting tight end. His name's Billy Berger. He has 2 years eligibility left, but honestly, he just isn't a great player overall. And, you know, he's not somebody to be that excited about. Looking at our O-line, we kind of are in the same boat there. We need to replace everybody, and anybody that's decent is a senior, so we're not going to talk too much about them guys. Hopefully, we can get some good recruits in to help us across the O-line. On our D-line, Travis Loud, number 88, is expected to lead the way for us. Our linebackers might be the best part of our team, though, as we have 2 guys who I expect to make big impacts for us. Starting with starting middle linebacker Levi Stiles, who will wear the green dot for us. He's a former 3-star transferred to us from Temple, and we expect him to lead the way on this defense. Our other backer that we expect to make a big impact is Marco Briggs. He is a junior that we expect big things from this season and next season as well. Our secondary, well, that might be our biggest weakness on the entire defense. And, you know, I do expect us to need to recruit these guys pretty heavy, so we're not going to talk a whole lot about them, but that's it for our team. Now, let's get into the rest of this dynasty. We're going to explain a little bit and just talk as we have practice going on in the background. So basically, what I want to see happen is us starting the CUSA, win the CUSA, move to the SunBelt, and we're going to play the Chamois every year. They're our rival in this. You know, people are kind of wondering, it looks like Chamois. I've researched the heck out of it. It's Chamois is how you pronounce it. And they're basically a weird little animal that's over in Germany. They're an antelope goat type animal. And I figured it'd be cool since we're going after and doing like a Germantown vibe for Helen, which is what they are. Why not go ahead and do the Chamois, which is another tribute to Germany as well. So it's a pretty cool idea, I thought. And they're going to be our rivals throughout. We brought them in. They're a much better team than us. They're in the mid 80s overall. And we expect them to dominate. And that's kind of the point. I want them to be good, so it's tough to take them down. And when we do, it's going to actually feel like an accomplishment. Our ultimate goal, though, is to go to the SunBelt and then each maybe move into the SEC and really compete at the highest level and see if we can become the dominant programs in college football. I don't know. I can't recruit for the Chamois, which is something I really wanted to do. Unfortunately, this game doesn't allow it. When I was kind of processing and making my plan, I was planning on running 2 colleges, not playing the games for the Chamois, but recruiting and making sure they were a good team. But you know, you can only do what you can do. I'm excited to get into this one. I'm going to try to keep some storylines in this. We're going to have players who get mad. We're going to have suspensions. We're going to have different things like that. And I can't wait to bring it to you. We're going to get it started soon. I'm LDJ11. I want to thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Have a great day, and I'm out.